Hey everyone, Steve from Backcountry Gallery here. Today, let's discuss AF Handoffs with the Nikon Z8, Z9, and Z6iii. Also, this will likely apply to more models in the future, but for now, it's just these three cameras. AF handoffs are a critical component to AF success, but they're often a source of confusion among Nikon shooters with more conflicting advice than a dyslexic GPS unit. Put simply, an AF handoff is when the camera is choosing the AF area and hands off the current AF position to an AF area override. Where the confusion comes in is the difference between a handoff and just a normal AF area override. A handoff is when the AF area override is picking up at the exact AF point the camera had chosen and was just using. An AF area override simply means you're pressing a button to select a different AF area. Basically, all handoffs include an AF area override, but not all AF area overrides include AF handoffs. The essential difference between a handoff and a normal AF area override is what AF point the camera will use when you press that override button. With a handoff, again, it's picking up at the exact AF point the camera was just using. With a normal AF area override, the AF point the camera uses can vary. It can be the last position used for the specific AF area on the override button. It might be in the center of the current AF area, or in the case of auto AF, it grabs whatever looks like the juiciest target. Now, don't worry if it still seems a little confusing. Let's break it down, cover an example, and review some critical notes. I promise if you stick with me till the end of this video, you're going to be an expert. So let's talk criteria. First, you need an AF area where the camera selects the AF point, such as auto, 3D, or wide AF with subject detection engaged. In each of these cases, the camera is picking the AF point in use, not the photographer, and that's the critical thing. Next, you need to have a button programmed for an AF area override. You can hand off to any AF area, although most people use auto or 3D since those options will allow you to follow the subject all over the frame. Still, if you're a psychopath, you can always hand off to single point AF. Typically, when using handoffs, most wildlife photographers, and likely most action shooters, like to start in wide AF with subject detection since it allows you to better pinpoint exactly where you want the camera's attention. Once wide AF is locked on and subject detection kicks in, you have to have that happen. That's when you can do a handoff to another AF area by pressing a button programmed for an AF area override. I tend to prefer auto AF for this, but 3D works well too. You also have to have focus point persistence enabled in the custom settings menu, and the good news is it's on by default. If it's off, so are the handoffs. Here's a step-by-step example. These instructions are with auto AF programmed to the FN1 button and wide AF selected as our normal AF area. 1. You place the wide AF area on the subject, acquire focus, and keep it engaged. 2. Once you see the green subject detection box appear, you can hand off to auto AF by pressing and holding FN1. 3. As you press and hold, the camera switches to auto AF and picks up where wide AF and subject detection left off, again, using the exact same AF point the camera was just using at the moment you pressed FN1. 4. With auto AF engaged, you no longer have to keep the smaller wide AF area on the subject and can follow the target all over the viewfinder. Also, when the conditions are met, handoffs are automatic. No need to worry about some special camera technique or anything. Those are the basics, but I still have some critical bonus notes for you as well, so you can really show off at the next Camera Club meeting. First though, I want to mention that AF handoffs are also covered in my Z8 and Z9 guide, my Z6iii guide, as well as my Nikon AF guide for Mirrorless. And it's just one of the hundreds of things I covered. As you can guess, there's a lot more to talk about, like why to choose auto AF instead of 3D for your AF override, how to create an AF override button in the first place, what AF areas work best under which circumstances, how to get the most from subject detection, and so much more. So you should probably go check out those books after this video, just so you're not missing anything. So, about those AF handoff notes. First, you don't have to use an AF handoff all the time. People get weirdly obsessed with this and start believing it's necessary for capturing any kind of action shot. It's not. Most of the time, for my bird and flight work, I simply set the camera to auto AF, subject detection mode to bird, or animal in the case of the Z6iii since it currently doesn't have a bird mode, and I happily fire away. No handoffs, no AF overrides, I just go out and fill my card with keepers. However, in situations where Auto AF is determined to lock onto all the wrong things, like when there's a lot of cover and or distraction in the area where the birds are flying, that's when I'm going to switch to wide AF so I can better target the bird and then hand off to Auto AF once subject detection is locked on. Along those same lines, sometimes you don't strictly need an AF handoff and just need a normal AF override. Maybe you're shooting a static subject and your current AF area isn't working so well, so you need to quickly jump to something on one of your AF override buttons, maybe single point AF, to get the shot before you lose the chance. In that case, it's not strictly necessary that the override AF area take over exactly at the last AF point used. In fact, probably 60% or more of my overrides don't require any kind of AF handoff. The only time handoffs are critical is when you're shooting action and changing the AF area while shooting that action. In that case, you absolutely want the camera picking up exactly at the last AF point it was using with the other AF area so you don't lose the lock. Second, you can't hand off using the cycle AF area mode options. Handoffs only work with a pre-programmed AF override button. Third, you can't reverse a handoff by releasing the AF override button and letting the normal AF area take over. For example, maybe you have wide on FN1 and auto as your normal AF area, the reverse of what we just did. If you press FN1 to use wide AF to acquire your subject and then release it to return to auto AF, the camera won't continue from where you left off. It may still find the subject, but it's not a true handoff and can backfire if it selects the wrong AF point. Fourth, as I mentioned before, you can also hand off to something like single point, a wide AF area, or dynamic if you like. However, none of the cool kids are doing that, since usually handoffs are used for action. Typically, we don't want to lock onto a target with auto and then switch to an area that doesn't offer full viewfinder tracking. Fifth, you can't do a double handoff. So you can't have FN1 programmed for wide and FN2 programmed for auto AF and handoff between them. Handoffs only work one way. You start with your normal AF area. Again, that's auto, 3D, or wide with subject detection enabled and finding the subject. And then hand off to a pre-programmed AF override button. That's it. It's a one-way street. Anything else is just switching AF areas. There you go. For more info on the Z8 and Z9, Z6iii, or Nikon Mirrorless AF system, check out those books I mentioned a moment ago. Also, if you learned something today, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment to let me know. Also, feel free to share this video with all your Nikon shooting friends. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.